Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to my any % Twilight Princess beginner route walkthrough. Scarian, a member of the community, completed a tutorial a couple of years back, about 4 years ago now, which gave an overview of what is consisting in a run. And I thought I'd go through and just update it a little bit. There's been a couple of things that have changed since then that weren't discovered at the time. So this is just kind of what I would go through as the beginner route. So this wouldn't be documented on zeldaspeedruns.com. This one has a lot less tricks, does some extra bits and pieces of the run. So in general will take you a bit longer, but if you're a new runner kind of getting into the game and you're just trying to get runs under your belt, this is the route I would recommend. I'm just going to do a bit of a live comm over it. Mistakes will happen, we'll kind of figure it out as we go. And also I'll link Scarian's tutorial below if you would like to learn anything from his route. You'll also see in the bottom right while I'm running, I'll have my input display there, which will hopefully just kind of help people understand any tricks or movement if they're getting a bit confused by them. But myself, I haven't ran this route in a couple of months now, so I might be a little bit shaky when it comes to different bits and pieces. But I will try my best to kind of give you a walkthrough of what is needed. I'd say the route all up will probably take me about 3 hours 10 minutes, 3 hours 15 minutes, based on how well tricks and things go. But this route is definitely less trick intensive than if you run one of the bite routes or the gorge routes. So this is kind of just designed for new people trying to get into it, trying to kind of see what the run is about, get a bit of a feeler. So this is a route I used when I was new, and I got about a 319 I think with it, just to help me kind of understand the movement of the game a bit more. We will see how these goats go. I'm not super well versed in Goats 1, as we don't actually do this in the more optimal any % routing. But we will see how the goats fare. Okay, that one did not like me. Alright, whatever. You'll also see, just while I'm going through this first section, I'm going to be gradually working my way up towards 30 rupees. This is quite important because when we get to the end of the split, we're going to be buying the slingshot for 30 rupees. So just while you were working through this part, we want to gradually build up our rupee count. So you'll see at the start when I was on Epona, I'm working my way through the grass on the side. You can sometimes get blue rupees there, but I wouldn't hold your breath on it. And yeah, kind of as you get more familiar with the route, what kind of rupees you get at what point will just slightly change in optimization. But working your way through the grass whenever you can is definitely a good way to go about it. So we'll side hop down here, because there's a guaranteed 5 under this rock in the grass. We'll also be getting 20 rupees from, I believe it's Colin's Roof. I could be mistaken. But that will make our rupee count nearly there to be able to afford the slingshot. I will also say that if something does go wrong, I will try my best to explain what was intended to happen. Sometimes we won't get it perfect. But also within the description of this video, I should have linked a Word document. Oh, I needed that. I should have linked a Word document that will explain kind of everything that's being done in a bullet point format for each split. So if you are struggling to remember the route or just need something next to you while you're completing a run, hopefully that will explain it. And if mine is not the one for you, Skyrian also has a document from when he did his routing. So I played it a bit safe there, holding L just to make sure I go straight towards the roof. Don't actually think I need that one. Yeah, it's 2 there. So I didn't actually need the one under the bridge, but it's okay. It's not a huge issue. Just something extra to note, just while you're working your way through the run. I've been watching a couple of new runners recently, and something that isn't kind of apparent, just from watching other runners, is that if you mash A and B, alternating in between your text boxes, unless it's something like an item pickup, or like certain text prompts, if you mash A and B, you will speed through the text a whole lot quicker. So you'll see here, if I'm mashing A and B, we cut through the text, but for the milk and the bottle, we can't. We have to just press A. And we'll buy the slingshot. And something that's important here is just before you leave the store, just make sure you make a save file. So we're gonna need this for later in the run. And then after we go out, that's our first split done. I will also say, in terms of splitting, people tend to split at different times. So whether you split on a text prompt, a fade out, whatever it might be, it's kind of up to the runner's discretion. Everyone does kind of what they want. So if you are ever comparing your times against another runner, you may realize that they start a split 10 seconds differently to you, or whatever it may be. So here we're going to use this rock. It has to be this rock, or I believe another rock, to bonk us through the fence to the other side. So rather than waiting to get this gate unlocked, if you just put down the rock and perform a side hop, or if you miss it, perform a side hop here, and then you need to slightly run back to the side you came from. So it can be a little bit tricky. I've actually screwed my line up here. There we go. It may feel like RNG when you're starting out, but there is a method to it. But it is, sometimes the gate can just mess you over. It's just kind of part of the run, just a thing that happens. I will say also here, just as a small plug, that if you are considering running this game and you're doing the beginner route at the moment, so this route, and you are looking at in the future potentially moving towards some of the more optimal routes, I've created a video in the past which I can link in the description, which will, it basically explains the benefits and disadvantages of each route and what route you may want to run going forward. We currently have 4 routes that are seen as like official routes, if you will. 2 of them are back in time equipped routes, and 2 of them are gorge routes. So I'll link that video below if you would like to learn more about the different kinds of routing. If I also remember, all of the different sections of all the different splits will be timestamped below. So if you need to jump through to a different part of the video, that should be there should be the chapters set up. So yeah, just a few small things which aren't necessarily needed for beginners, but can kind of help you save a bit of time in the long run. First off with rolling, so as you can see right now, when we're rolling, as you can see by my input display, I'm not actually mashing the A button endlessly. I'm trying to time my A press to roll through and chain them. So there's a frame perfect chaining you can do, which will make you roll quicker. It's obviously a bit harder based on like the elevation or whatever you're doing. But if you are able to time the A roll presses together, you'll just pick up a bit more speed, which is can kind of build up along the run. Rolling is a very kind of understated requirement for good runs. Like being able to roll better just saves so much time. I'll also say that when you're equipping items, so when you are taking something from your item wheel and putting it into your inventory in the top right, if you double tap the button, it will instantaneously equip. So I might be able to show you on the next time I equip something, but if I'm putting something to Y, if I double tap Y, it'll snap to the spot. So again, just saving a small bit of time across the run. No revolutionary time save, but just something of note. Let's see if we can get these bokos to free. There we go. And use the slingshot to defeat them. Not the most optimal movement in the world, but it gets the job done. I'll take a blue rupee. I did not mean to actually press A on you. So rupee management throughout the run is something that you have to take into account. So basically when we need to go to City in the Sky, we need to have collected 300 rupees for fire. So he will repair the cannon for us. So across the run, there's plenty of opportunity to get rupees. There's backup rupees and whatever they may be, but there's no harm in just gradually working up your count as we go. And now we've got our second goats. So as I said, this should all be outlined in the document. But if you do have any questions, I'd recommend joining the TP community Discord, because they are very helpful in answering any questions you may have. The goats do have a level of RNG to them. They can just randomly choose to not follow instructions. But that's actually a pretty good goats. Also, remembering what cutscenes are skippable and which aren't. Yeah, that'll just be a bit of help across the run. So unlike the more optimal route, here we actually don't go to Bow. We'll be coming back to Bow later for the Iron Boots after we talk to the Goron in Death Mountain. Also, just in the case of languages, German is seen to be the most optimal language for this game, but it's a negligible difference. The last I heard, it was between 1.5 to half a second based on if you did another trick, a hard trick or not. So definitely not needed in terms of glitches or anything like that. You're able to run on English or European versions. There's a little Q you can do here to break the box. It saves you a handful of frames. Really not the end of the run if you fail it. But just something you kind of pick up over time. Also, some of the movement I'm going to do throughout the runs will not be optimal. It's just what I do. So, like, if it works for you starting out, that's great. But it may not be the most optimal in long term. So, for example, that jump attack thing I do there, I'm pretty sure there's a faster way to do it. But yeah, gradual things you'll learn as you run the game a bit more. There will also be a sequence of one-framers. So basically, on a lot of cutscenes, or I guess a handful, throughout the run and Midna text prompts, if you perform a jump attack within the frame between Midna talking and the cutscene ending, you're able to skip the text prompt and just continue on. So that can just be a handful of seconds in different spots across the run. There's one example in a gorge route where we do Gorge Void, which is basically uses that premise of the one frame in between, but it saves a bit over a minute. So that's quite a staple of the Gorge route. I guess I should say the Gorge Bombs route specifically. There was also a thing with that first stairs, the stairs at the bottom of the tower. If you hit it at a certain angle, you skip the minute cutscene. So there'll be a one framer here, which I did not get. But if you mash L and A, or I guess time it if you would like to, you're able to skip that Midna text prompt. But yeah, if you hit that previous stairs at a kind of a diagonal angle, it will it'll knock the stairs, but you won't land in the water. And Midna will not talk to you, so that just saves a few seconds. A little bit of trouble with the door. Perfect. And now we are up to the sword and shield split. So in one of the faster routes, or in some of the faster routes, you will perform a thing called sword and shield skip, which will skip this part of the run and manipulate this enemy down here, this one here. So this is Hugo. Hugo is used for sword and shield skip, which basically jumps over a Midna prompt into a cutscene so that we don't have to collect the sword and the shield from Ordon. So not something we need in this route, but if you continue on with this game, it may be something that you need to pick up. Whoops, that's a wall. Alright, Sag. So if you actually perform back in time at the start of the run, and to get your sword and your shield really early, and you come to this part of the game, you'll actually notice. I didn't actually think that was gonna miss. That's crazy. I've never seen that before. I thought it would just hit the. I thought it would just hit this prompt. Yeah, if you do back in time at the start of the game, and you come to this area, there will not be anyone here. The game will soft lock, which is why you have to do sword and shield skip. I don't know what happened. That is something to be discovered. That was very strange. I held forward at the end. I don't know if that was the difference. Yeah, as I said, mistakes will be made throughout the run, especially since I've not done this route in a long time. That's a frog, if you were interested. That's another frog. And now we've got our sword as well. So now at this point, because we've got our sword and our shield, we're all good to head off into Faron. Skip a couple of cutscenes. And then just 2 spin attacks will get it. Alright, second split done. Or third split, my apologies. So this split here is where I think most new players will struggle to get runs going. So early Master Sword is a trick we'll perform in about 2 minutes, maybe a little longer. And basically what it does is it manipulates one of these shadow beasts to launch us out of bounds of a little arena, to give us access to Sacred Grove very early in the run. Because at Sacred Grove we can get the Master Sword and also the crystal, which will let us transform between Wolf and Link whenever we want. So here we just... Oh, I pressed start just a little bit early. So here we need to grab the vessel to clear Faron. When we're encountering all of the different bugs, we'll deal with them in different ways. So if you pay attention as I go along, we'll see that first off we have 2 bugs around this corner. We actually leave both of them there. We'll come back for them later on. We don't need to collect them right now. Because you actually have to make this pathing twice. Grab that bug. And we'll head inside to Koro's house. We'll grab those. And head on out. So those first 2 bugs will be coming back through, so we'll grab them later. That's a bonk. So an important thing to note that as long as you hear the sound of the tier kind of popping, you're able to continue to the next loading zone and it'll be fine. So if you see here, I'm going to kill these bugs, and as long as the tier pops, I'll be all good. That noise there. So I heard them go, so I'm able to go into the next zone. Can't forget our 2 bugs here. So just keeping track of which ones you need to collect the tears from and who you can come back for is very helpful. And also knowing where the tier is and then being able to grab them out of the air with a jump attack. It's very situational, but if it's something you can gradually implement into your runs, it'll save you time. And we'll come back with these 2 bugs later. So now we're going to perform EMS. I'll link a tutorial for this down below. It's quite tough to get used to. But we'll see how it goes. So I want to bring the Shadow Beast over here. We've got a bit of a line up here with the I guess the vein of the wall. Yeah. Perfect. First try. The Shadow Beast there can swing slowly or quickly. If it swings quickly, it's near impossible to hit. So we generally wait for it to be a slow swing. And it'll launch us out the arena like that. But I'll link a tutorial for it below. Because it is definitely one of the most confusing tricks starting out. Actually, I've made a mistake here. I need to make a save file. The reason I need a save file here is because I'm going to need it later on for a thing called early boss flags. So that's my apologies. So make sure you make a file there and don't have it be the file that you previously made. So we should have 2 save files at this point. One will be in Ordon, in the shop, if you want to climb. And the second one will be at the Sacred Grove Howling Zone. I got too caught up in my story on Early Master Sword. So this part's pretty self-explanatory. Work your way through and defeat Skull Kid. But yeah, the early boss flags that I was just discussing, the reason we need the Howling Zone is because when we get to Lake Bed later in the run, we're going to perform a trick, or I guess an exploit, where we're going to pull up this file, we're going to complete the Howling Stone, and be able to access a Deku Toad fight earlier than we should be able to. So what it does is that rather than us needing to make it to Deku Toad the normal way, we can just enter a room and look at the roof. And that'll just spawn us into the fight. So you'll see what I mean later on in the run. But just something to keep of note that you will need that save file. Yeah, I've ledge grabbed here. There we go. Nice little bonk. So after this, we've basically got the Sacred Grove puzzle, which is the same every time. So when I started out, I'd write it down on a sticky note, just to make sure I always had it with me. It can be hard to remember at first, but eventually it just becomes muscle memory a bit. Within the document, that'll be in the description, I'll have how to do the puzzle. But you should pick it up pretty quickly from watching. As I said, just gradually collecting rupees as I go along. $13 is not a bad count. So you just gotta redo the Howling Stone. Cool. Alright, so it's you go left, you're gonna go down to the bottom, and then you're basically gonna do a circle. So you just go around the edge and then back into the middle. As I said, I'll have it all in the document below in case this confuses you. I do think for this route, once you get past early Master Sword, that's a huge chunk out the way, because it's probably one of the few tricks in this run that can actually just like prevent you from moving forward. So we're gonna run up. I'm gonna split on grabbing the sword, which is kind of up to each runner. I will also say this cutscene isn't skippable, so if you need a bathroom break or something like that, this is probably the time to go. You got a decent chunk of time. So now that we want to do, now that we've gotten our Master Sword, we're going to go collect the Boomerang from Ook in Forest Temple. So we need to retrace our steps through Faron and collect the rest of the tiers on the way. So we're going to clear the Twilight because we won't be able to access Hyrule Field until we clear Faron Twilight. In the more optimal routes, we perform a thing called Faron Escape, where we don't actually clear this Twilight at all, and perform a jump to get out early. Just grab all these as you go. Same pathing back. I will be doing a little bit of movement, which is, I guess, more. I don't know if advanced is the right word, but yeah, it's harder to do, but it saves a decent chunk of time, so you may as well go for it. In this purple fog section here, if you want, you can either just go around the way you did before, the way to EMS, the way we did before. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transform at the end of this plank, and then I'm gonna go lantern, 2 rolls, lantern, 3 rolls, lantern, 3 rolls, lantern, the rest of the way. And it's just a quicker way to get across. I've actually missed them. I've actually missed the bug, which is quite funny. Can you come out, please? So what a lot of people do while that bug is spawning, there's a 10 rupee under here. Obviously, I have kind of messed up the movement. But there's a 10 rupee under there if you would like it. So normally you would kill the 2, grab the rupee while the 2 are spawning, and then come back. And now we can come through and just kill these. There's no need for them anymore. An unnecessarily big charge attack. Something also just to keep in the back of your mind while you're doing your run, in terms of charging up and focusing on shadow beasts, the shadow beast that you target last will be the one you attack first. So sometimes you want to manipulate what order you do it in to make sure you don't hit a wall. So you would target certain ones before others. So kill those 2 bugs. Transform here. Burn down the cobweb. And clear the rest of it. It's important also, just as an extra thing, I can hit a backflip here if I mash. I did not get the mash off. So now I want to save over my 3rd file and reset the console. This will just bring me back to a point of being able to do back in time better. But yeah, if you're transforming from Wolf to Link, if you see up, so camera stick up, it's just a little bit quicker across the run. It'll save you a few seconds across the run. So here we're going to perform back in time. So if you go between these 2 ropes, lean off the edge, unplug your controller, hold D-pad right and Z. Oh, I forgot a button. It's D-pad right. What even is it? D-pad right and A. Sorry. And then press B, hold start and X, and then hold B. Sorry, I forgot the buttons for that. You will spawn in here, and then mid jump off the edge. If you start it again, and go to your Ordon file. And basically, this is how we get our monkeys earlier. If that didn't make any sense to you, I will relink. I'll link another tutorial to do with it. Want to ride opponent to the edge, and then midair reset and void. So what this will do is that'll give us the monkeys in Forest Temple. So you want to hold start, X, and B. Need to warp back to North Faron. You want to hold start, X, and then B. And what B will do is it will close your map and trigger a soft reset. And then you will void and reset the console on the same frame. And that's how we get him back in time. But I'll link a video that'll explain it further. And now we warp back to Forest Temple. Sorry, North Faron. And we'll learn Ending Blow from this wolf, which is required to defeat Ganon at the end. Just make sure that when you're playing around with the save files there, and you're trying to save over the right files, just make sure that you don't get rid of your Sacred Grove file, because otherwise that will be an issue later in the run. This is super self-explanatory. Just hit a jump attack. And then mash through the text. But yeah, basically when I ran to the edge of Hyrule Field there, when I'm in the air, I trigger a soft reset, same way I did before. That's 1. That's 2. So we need Ending Blow to defeat Ganon at the end of the game. So if I can play that back in time correctly, I should have all of the monkeys when I get into Forest Temple. That can be done faster. Oh. There we go. So if you have an enemy targeted, just pressing L again will target the other enemy, just to make it easier. Alright, so back in time was correct, which it was. We now have all our monkeys, so we can make it over for the Ook fight. So this is quite important because the Boomerang plays a huge part in the run, because of the LJAs we can do with them, so the long jump attacks. If you're unfamiliar with Boomerang long jump attacks, I'll leave a point in the document below that explains how they work. So just an insta spin and a B attack will get that. So if you do if you hold L and press A, and while in midair you spin around, you'll do an instant spin. So you'll hit them with a jump attack and then a spin attack. So it's the fastest way to inflict damage. And also in terms of Ook hopping around there, that's RNG. He just chooses to hop as much as he would like. Now we have our Boomerang. So from here, you just save warp back to the start of the dungeon, because we're going to need to go fight Diababa. So what you can do here is you equip the ring, target. You can do them together as well. It's quicker. So what we need to go get now is we need to go get the boss key, which is not as far away as we would think. Yep. Ah. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. There is faster movement to get over to here. So to get onto this wooden platform earlier. But I will leave that for someone else's video. That's a bonk. So this is kind of where our first LJA of the run is. So as I said, I'll link the movement guide video that'll explain it. Because it will become voided. It will become an integral part of your run. Try my hardest not to void. If you're on low health because you failed it, there is a fairy in this pot. So if you would like to drink your milk, you can grab this fairy for later. Just if you are conscious of dying later on in the run. And now we have the Diababa fight. So I'll be going for just the basic kind of let's play way of defeating Diababa. There is a way to perform this where you do not need Ook to come along, called Ookless. But that is a more advanced strat and not realistically something you'll need in any percent. Because when we run more optimal routes, we actually skip the Diababa fight. Because we don't need it. So probably not worth optimizing, but if you run a different category or just fancy learning something new, there is ways to optimize this. So nothing weird here, I just need to wait for Ook. I do believe I actually need to be in the attacking range of the plants for Ook to rock up. I could be wrong about that, but I think I can't be at the back of the room. So just kind of dance around, avoid the heads. And just target on him. What you can do here is that when Diababa goes to spit at you, just hit it with a boomerang and it'll stop. Yeah, we're just gonna need two hits on Diababa. Here we go. So as I said, this will not be a part of the run if you run a more optimal route. But starting out, we must defeat Diababa. Collecting this heart container is fully optional. If you're starting out and just would like a bit of buffer room, I'd recommend getting it. As you kind of get more further into your runs, I'd recommend maybe skipping it. because you won't have it later on in any percent when you run a different route. So kind of testing yourself with less hearts. But starting out, definitely go for it. Perfect. And now we will transform to Wolf, and we're going to run to Eldin. So to get to Eldin, we need to exit to Hyrule Field. On Hyrule Field, there'll be a mailman. So there's a mailman, I believe, 3 times in this run, if I'm not mistaken. At least twice. And what we want to do is we want to skip him. You can, this one's kind of optional. I'd say for a new person, it's not essential, but it's a free 9 seconds, so I don't see why not. But what I do is I run up to this wall here, this one ahead of me, and I have a point on the wall. There's a white patch, and if I get there, I'll be able to show you. There's this white patch here. This is the point I use, and I just throw the boomerang. I complete an LJA. It's fully optional. If it takes you more than 9 seconds to set it up, you're not saving time anyway. But yeah, definitely just a bit of free time as you get further down the line. The one going into Hyrule is even easier. Alright, now we're going to go over and get the Eldin Vessel. So in more optimal routes, we do this in 2 sections. Because here we complete some quite difficult tricks. But for the sake of this route, we can just go along and make our way to Eldin. And the casual way. I'll see if I can get Gorge Void Frame. I did. Nice. So we're back to North Faron. We need to bring the bridge back here. You can skip this cutscene here. Also, when Midna finishes talking, after you spawn the bridge, there'll be a 1-frame window that you can skip. Again, saves a couple of seconds, nothing major. But if you feel like it, you can hold down L and just start mashing A. Because if you get the frame, Midna won't talk. But if you miss the frame, Midna will talk to you. So we'll see if I get it. I got it. Cool. So that just skips Midna talking to you afterwards. Cool. And so when we get to here, we're just going to go into Eldin, and then we're going to clear Eldin of Twilight. So we need to go get the vessel, and then we will clear the Twilight. Within my Eldin, I'm going to be doing a thing called Human Bomb House Skip, which is kind of what it says on the tin. There's a bomb house that normally we go into and blow up, but you can actually just skip it, and it saves, I believe it's somewhere between 35 to 40 seconds, and it's not very hard to do at all, as long as you know the setup for it, and I'd say like a short bit of practice. So I'm gonna do it in this route just because I feel like it's something you definitely could go for in your first couple of runs. So we just hit this bug up here. Again, as long as we hit the tier noise, we're fine. And we're going to perform well clip, which is just a side hop into this well. After the tier noise is sounded. Transfer over into Wolf. And you can do a charge attack here. To try your best to get all 3 of them. If you don't, it's not a huge issue. You can do them. You can do it very, very quick. But as long as you get some of them, like, it'll be okay. And skipping this cutscene when we get out. And collecting the tier. So Eldin Twilight, sorry, is something you will always have to clear. It's something that's involved in all of our routes. So for this bug here, if you bonk into the wall on the left, I actually messed it up because I bonked into the wrong wall. But if you bonk into the left wall, not the top wall, the bug will actually come down and just jump down into this hole, and you can just hit it. So if you bonk it to the left hand side, that was actually my mistake. And here we need to scare the bug out of the fireplace. So just light this torch. Give it a throw. Give it a second because it has a tiny bit of an immunity frame, kind of. And then you can defeat it. Also there, when I hit that kitchen counter, make sure you do that. That's actually required because it wakes up this bug. So make sure you hit the kitchen counter when you jump over. Don't worry about that movement. I'm actually going to come back just because that was just muscle memory. Don't worry about that. You can just climb up the ledges. And get your way out like that. That was full muscle memory. The diagonal jumps are not needed. They're just a bit faster. Now dropping into this building, if you just do an attack and change your senses on, you can push this bug out. While that bug is spawning, you can see what rupees in there. You can sometimes get 10 rupees. Which obviously help going towards your rupee count. A thing with collecting rupees is that if you collect a rupee over 5, you'll get a text prompt. But if you hit it with if you collect it through a side hop or a back hop animation, you can actually skip the text. But you won't get the text if you've already had one before in that life, if that makes sense. So here what we want to do, this is the wolf bomb house skip. Transform to human just at the top of the stairs. Aim in line with this right pole. And then just spam A. Hop up here. Transform to wolf. And then you want to intercept this bug. Cool. Now when this bug dies, the house disappears. The movement inside the house is actually important for collecting those tiers. So again, something I would play around with, ask questions in the Discord. I just made that look a bit easier than it is. But it is definitely worth going for. It saves you somewhere between 30 to 40 seconds. This bug here is a bit of a pain. So it's in this corner pot. It kind of just runs around for a bit. As far as I've seen, there's no clear indication as to when it does what. But yeah, kind of just wanted to play around with. Little side hop down, and we're up into Death Mountain. There's a bunch of little optimizations that I won't end up talking about. But one here, if you just walk up to the left-hand side, you can do a quick climb. If you try to climb a ledge right next to like another ledge, it sometimes shoots you up. We can get this bug. And we'll just go get our last two, which are down here and in the next section. A thing here, this shadow beast on the far right sometimes just doesn't come away from that wall. So scaring it away from the wall early may be beneficial to you. Because sometimes shadow beasts just don't like coming over to you. And they just ignore you for a bit. Cool, and that is our last bug. Cool. Now what we need to do is we need to go get the iron boots. So this is a part of the more optimal routes that we do super early on. But because of how this route plays out, we get it quite late. So involved in this is wrestling Bo, the mare. Bo is a very RNG heavy segment. If you can mash quickly, that's good. But it is very, yeah, there's a lot of luck that goes into Bo. So basically just talk to this Goron. When he starts rolling at you, just warp back to Kakariko. Something in Skyrion's tutorial that has since been, I guess, demythed, if that's the right word, is that you can actually tame Epona here as a wolf. But I will say that if you are photosensitive, or have anything like that, I'd recommend looking away from the screen. Or maybe just going for the human taming of Epona. Because what it tries to do is it tries to match Wolf Link to Human Link's body on Epona. And it kind of bugs out the textures, as you can see. So I will just say that in advance. If you are photosensitive, maybe go for the human version. It's only a few seconds slower. But still the same principle, just holding on. Cool. And now what we need to do is we need to warp back to Ordon. And go get Bo. Before we go get Bo, we're also going to grab some extra rupees. Are we going to grab rupees? I don't think it's needed. But for the sake of this, I'm not going to get rupees. Because I'm pretty sure I can just get the Snowpeak ones and they're probably quicker. Oh, sugar. So yeah, just transform where they can't see you. Because I'm pretty sure the Snowpeak rupees are quicker. So instead I'm just going to go straight to Bo. So basically there'll be 2 100 rupees in Snowpeak. For the sake of this, I'm gonna assume that we can still get them, but I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to. See, here's just mashing through a bunch of text boxes with bow. You want to say yes on the first text prompt and no on the second. And then here, it's just a game of rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, you need to mash, I think it's 12 mashes per second to get him off the edge in one cycle. Kind of just best of luck with it. That actually wasn't bad bow energy. Alright, those bows actually could have been worse. But yeah, for the sake of this, I'm gonna say that we're not gonna get the rupees here. I don't know why we would, if we're gonna get ones later on. I don't actually know if it's faster to get these ones. But I can't imagine so. Alright, now we're going to warp back to South Faron after that. And we're going to go do Lanayru Vessel. So we've split this into two sections. We've got getting the Lanayru Vessel. And then getting, clearing the Lanayru Twilight. Lanayru Twilight's a longer section than Eldin. Just because the bugs are more spread out. It's a much more movement heavy split rather than trick intensive. So I need to take Epona over to Lanayru Gate on the left hand side of Hyrule. So this gate can be a little bit funky. The best advice I can give with it is that you don't want to be parallel with the gate. You want to be kind of aiming off to an angle slightly. But it'll take some getting used to. If you can hit them on the way, that's a bit better. But what you need to do is you need to transform into Wolf. Aim just a bit to the right. Perform an attack and then side hops through the middle of the gate. As I said, it'll take a bit of getting used to. But yeah, definitely something to play around with. And now what we want to do is we want to run into this just kind of abyss. Get on the box and hop off. It's important to know there that when you get to that text prompt on the bridge, don't skip the text, just spam start. Because if the first text prompt gets skipped, you won't be able to skip the cutscene. So that's just a little thing to note. Just spam start, don't skip the text. Cool, now we can go kill the Argorok rider. There is a faster method to doing this, but it may crash your game if you do it incorrectly. So doing this method is probably just much more worth it. Where are you going? So what you want to do is do a jump attack, and then just back up straight away, do another jump attack. And then you can just charge up and kill him. This part's pretty self-explanatory, very almost identical to a Let's Play. So just fly through the cavern and get up to the other side. And again, if you would like, there's a wolf jump attack you can perform here. Didn't get it this time. Cool, and now we need to make our way up to Zora's domain. And then we need to clear the Twilight, and then we need to unfreeze, or I guess melt, the Zoras. Actually, we melt Zora's domain first. That's my bad. Just wait for the icicles to drop. Quick spin on that platform. We'll be able to call Midna again. And in here, it's just defeating the 3 messengers and then warping to Death Mountain. So the Shadow Beast is going left. Beat this one. And warp to Death Mountain. I'd like to have my iron boots equipped at this point. Just because you're going to need them in a moment. If you don't, it's not a huge deal. You'll just equip them after the cutscene. So warp this back to Zora's. There's a frame perfect side hop you can do here. So holding L and right and mashing A. There you go. And then hop into the water and sink the way down. As you go over the edge, you can equip iron boots just to fall quicker. Just equip and unequip. That's kind of like an optimization you'll use as you get further and further into the run. Just equipping your iron boots and then being able to unequip them just to fall quicker. Cool, and now we get to grab the vessel. And now we're on to clearing the Twilight. So this Twilight section involves a decent amount of warping back and forth. So we want to get 2 bugs at Lake Hylia, and then go back up to Zora's, and then work our way down to Castle Town. Grabbing that tear out of the air if you can, or just wait for it to come down. These messengers can be a bit weird. They tend to distance themselves quite a bit. Definitely something to figure out. And the way I do is to kind of run between the two of them here. But they do tend to walk around a little bit. So I'd say something to play with them to practice, just to make sure that you don't accidentally only kill two of them. Little attack used just to clear the distance a little bit more. Money grass. Awesome. And now we warp up to Zora's Domain when we hear the tear hit the vessel. For this one here, there's a bug on the wall. So just bonk on the wall a bit, it'll come down. And then you can use your map to see where it's gone. And then just take it out with a charged attack. Making sure here that you don't walk past that point of where the stairs are, because it will trigger the Rutella text box, which you don't want to do. That was a bit of an early pull, but yeah, pulling your iron boots as close as you can to this point to be able to come across. But yeah, you don't want to trigger the Rutella text box. We can avoid it for this whole run. Little drop down here. These bugs here will be some of the most annoying bugs in the run. Generally the quickest way to do them is to just do 2 jump attacks. I enjoy going for a charged attack to try and get both of them, but I wouldn't count on it in any capacity. So it's kind of however you get them. It's very RNG dependent. And then grab this one before it digs. The camera here gets a little bit funky after the cutscene, so if you just hold down and slightly to the right, you should be in a fairly good standing to continue on the right way. Chat to Isa. And big bug. And yeah, you can see that just while I'm waiting for tears to spawn, just gradually buffering up my my rupee count. Now that I think about it, in this route, there is a lot of choice for rupees. You can get an extra 150 in Ordon if you would like. You can get a very comfortable 60 in Arbiters. You can get 60 from Fire. Yeah, getting to 300 rupees in this route is very forgiving. So if you do forget any rupees or the grass isn't liking you, don't worry too much. There are backups on backups. Also, if you're wondering why I run like this with the camera kind of up in the air, that's just a console thing. I'm currently running this on emulator, but when I do complete my runs, it's on console, so there's a bit of lag. So just doing camera down will just help reduce the lag a little bit. We do it when we're in the desert later on as well. But yeah, nothing too much to talk about in this section at this point. We're gonna come over here, defeat these shadow beasts, and then make our way down through the castle town to get a bug that's hanging out at the very end. Similar concept to this one. Just defeat the first, wait for the second one to come around. See, they're ignoring me a little bit. Barely made that. So just something to practice and to keep in mind, that they do sometimes just not detect you. And skipping the cutscene when we enter Castle Town. You're going to see me doing some movement here called dash cancelling. So it's an A press followed by a B press. And it performs the start of a dash animation and then cancels it. And it's just the fastest way to move through Castle Town. You also see it used at different points in the run, because it doesn't actually exhaust your dashing ability. So it lets you just dash straight afterwards. So if you do them in quick succession, you can cover a bit of distance. So you see them used for spacing quite a bit. I think if you think of the sewers near the start of the run, I use them there quite a bit. Now we just need to grab the bug that is behind fire. That bug can sometimes be annoying. Yeah, just sometimes bug doesn't play nice. Skip both these cutscenes. And now there's 4 bugs we want to get within this course. You can get them in order, or you can get the second bug first, which is like a second faster. It's nothing too crazy. Just make sure you turn on your Twilight and then lock onto them. So if you just target them and press A, your work is done. There we go. And just bonk into that wall at the end. And then when the prompt comes up, just press B. So now we just got 2 more bugs. We got the boss bug, and we got the bug here. Oh, a little bit of trouble with that one. So for this the boss bug fight, I won't be doing the fast fight for it, but this can be optimized to make the attacks quicker. But I'll just do it normally. So skipping cutscene, turning on your senses, and skipping a cutscene. Wait for it to come down. Hit it with a bunch of attacks and wait for it to work its way around. So this can be optimized, as I said. I wonder if I can hit the optimization now. I might be able to show you it. And what it does is you stop the bug in its tracks and attack it quicker. I'll try hit it now. Yeah, like that. And also, when you go to do a charge attack here, instead of just standing in the middle, walk up to the top left. And you bonk off of the belly of the bug, and it just skips the 6 dash animation. So it's a super free 2 seconds or whatever it might be. But just walk up, and the charge attack will actually bonk you against the belly of the bug. And that is Lanayru cleared. Alright, now we're going to go get the Zora Armor. Whoops. So just warping over to Castle Town. This is not needed in the current most optimal route, although some people do choose to run Zora Armor routes, because it does make the Morpheel fight a lot easier. There is a mailman skip here, but I'm just going to talk to him. I'll showcase the mailman skip later on in the run. Again, not really needed because you need to transform to wolf anyway. So, sorry, you need to transform to human anyway. So I'm not sure how much time this one would save. But yeah. So what you want to do here is you want to run down to Telma's Bar, which is where we had just found the other bug. You always talk to someone. So we need to escort Telma's wagon over so that we can get the Zora Armor. And this will be where maybe another trick you need to get used to will be. So we're going to do a thing called KB, I believe it's KB2 skip. By using a thing called Epona Clip. And I'll try to explain it as well as I can while I'm doing it. But it's pretty straightforward when you get the hang of it. So you wanna walk parallel to this wall until you hit the wall. I actually stuffed it up. Give me a second. I have not done this in a minute. So walk until your head hits the wall. So I can't move any farther forward if you look at my input display. Tilt right. One step forward. And if you run under your opponent's neck and kind of shimmy around a little bit, you should be able to clip through. So that skips the King Boblin part of the wagon. May take a little bit to get used to. If you think you messed it up, you can either readjust it or do what I do and just kind of shimmy around. There's a couple of rupees hanging around the grass if you want to buff your count a bit. So here you can just put out the fire. Never mind, she's back on fire. Hold R and press A if you want to backflip off. And here, the other enemies actually don't matter. The only enemies that matter are the birds, or whatever their technical name is. I just get rid of these guys because they kind of just annoy me. But basically, you need to get the birds on a cycle. So this bird will come down a sec. If you don't hit that bird to stop it from bombing the wagon, you're going to lose a bit of time because the wagon has to do a detour. So making sure that you get them is quite important. Alright, they hit a wall. There will be another bird up here. Oops. I like to kill the enemies here if any follow through, which it doesn't look like any did. So what you can do here is dismount Epona, transform into a wolf, go under the gate, one, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's what was wrong. And then you perform just an LJ around the corner. Perfect. Just gotta wait, let that boomerang go for a little set, and then you'll be able to complete it. But that was my fault. I went for the wrong setup. So it's 4 side hops and then 2 dry rolls. And a dry roll is just holding L and pressing A, not holding anything on the stick. And so what we need to do here is we need to get the Zora Armor. So if you run through the middle of the graveyard, otherwise you'll get called back. If you shimmy in a little bit and then shimmy back out, for some reason it warps you to the other side, which I guess is convenient. And now we will get access to the Zora Armor. So this will make it easier for us to get into Lakebed, for the Morpheel fight, and for the Zant fight. Now we get to warp to Lake Hylia, and we get to go to Lakebed. So something to note here, you need to transform before you jump in the water, otherwise it's an issue. So transforming is definitely needed. And then just while you're in there, change over to Zora Armor, and we get to go over towards the pillar. So this pillar, closest to the Lakebed entrance, you can kind of see it in the distance now. We'll be using this to clip up into Lakebed. So with Zora Armor, this trick is very easy. Without Zora Armor, it is very difficult. And that is needed in more optimal routes. So the way I've been doing this with Zora Armor is we sink down to the bottom. I stand kind of here, look up towards it, and then just swim straight up. And I mess it up. Crazy. It's amazing what happens when you're on video. There we go. And then just swim over to the trigger. That's what you want to do here. You want to save, not open your letters. You want to save over your file and reset. And now here we want to load our Sacred Grove file. So that file that you've had since the start of the run, this is where it serves its purpose. So I believe it's my second file, because I can see from the 26-minute mark. What you want to do here is you want to come over, complete the Howling Stone. Skip the cutscene, and then just reset. And what that'll do is that triggers early boss flags, so we can fight Deku Toad now. So you'll see that impact that has in a minute. Doing the save warp also brings us into the main room of Lakebed, so just like speeds up the process a little bit. So performing just an LJA up to the main part here. So I do a dry roll and a little bit more. Somewhere on the left. Yeah, that was a bit too far. This LJA takes a moment to get used to. I still mess it up, as you can see. Yeah, definitely something to get used to. Cutscene here. there was probably a there's probably a cut in the edit there. Just because I did not correctly do that. And then just here, 2 LJs. That's not high enough. Let's go 1 there, 1 there. So in a casual playthrough, you would need to access Deku Toad through like blowing up a hole in the wall and all these different things. Because of our Sacred Grow file, if we walk into this room and we press C up and look at the roof, you will spawn in the Deku Toad fight. Yep. So this is why we have the Sacred Grow file. Deku Toad to defeat, you can just gradually defeat him. It's recommended that you do a bunch of individual slashes rather than a combo. So if you do it properly, you can one cycle him, but I'll see how we go. So you'll see me do a bunch of slashes. I actually missed one of them. But completing slashes like that rather than a combo is a faster way to do it. You can 2 cycle him very comfortably. Also, when he goes in the air, if you just press C up on the controller, he'll instantly drop back down. Yeah, there we go. And now we have access to the Clawshot. What you can do here is, depending on what you're more comfortable with, if you're faster, working your way back through Lake Bed, it's quicker to go that way. But if you're not comfortable with the LJs in the first room, just working your way back like this is the way to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the Clawshot that we just got, and we're going to go fight Morpheel. So just work your way back the way you were, the way you came from. Nice. Turn the stairs. And to get up onto the wall, the way I'm going to do it is... Oh, actually needed a boomerang on. If you just tag this part and do a jump, and then you're going to perform boss key skip. Fall down. Spin attack. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I hold up right there. You can look at the input display to see how it went. But yeah, there was probably a cut in the video. So what I want to do here is just defeat Morpheel. With Zora Armor, it's a lot easier than without. So just sink to the bottom. What you can do is, if you Clawshot here, do a side hop and pull your sword. If you can hit Morpheel here, it skips the second part of the first cycle. So basically, you hold L, side hop, and as you side hop, press B as well, and you'll pull the sword out midair. And that way you only have to do 2 phases of Morpheel rather than like a third one. Morpheel fight's pretty easy without Zora Armor. I just swim left. Sorry, with Zora Armor, I mean. I put on my iron boots here, because you can do fast unequips. So just put anything over your iron boots, and you can just dismount it quickly. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. It's just the way I did it when I was new. I needed that. There we go. Yeah, Morpheel fight, just kind of swim left. I'd say I play around with it. It's not... There's nothing I can tell you in this that'll make it better. I'd say I play around with it a bit. But basically my rule of thumb would be always swim left. If you see what I did on the final attack there of Morpheel, I equipped Iron Boots and I attacked it. And when my second phase of attacks was done, I unequipped my Iron Boots by putting something over it and then did a quick re-grab. Maybe something to play around with. I think the Morpheel fight with Zora Armor is just keep swimming left, keep attacking, and you'll get to the end of it. I don't think there's any Morpheel Zora Armor related resources. There's plenty on without Zora Armor. So I would recommend either watching some Zora Armor runners or asking in the Discord. Cool. Now we've got MDH, which is a fairly short split, all things considered. We're basically going to run down to Telma's Bar again as Wolf Link. And get Midna back. So it's kind of like a combination of the Zelda rooftops and parts of the Lanayru segment. So we just need to run over to Castle Town, nothing crazy. And again, we're going to do dash cancelling. So dash cancelling down to the bar. Watch out for that text box. I think I may have been slightly hopeful for how long this will take. I think this is getting closer to 320. It's kind of hard to tell. So just one push here, and then you can do a jump attack, or sorry, a dash across. Watching out for the ropes. Ropes take a bit to get used to in this game. Yeah. A little dash here as well, if you want to hop across. But ropes do take a little bit to get used to. I have jumped off them many times. Skip this cutscene. Jump down. There's 2 B attacks. And collect the power. And then we get to chat to Giovanni. Cool. I got the analog glitch after falling down. If you'll see, I have my lantern already equipped. That's just something from when I did the fast unequipped on Morpheel. I knew I'd need my lantern next, so I just had it ready to go. Here you just need to make sure you kill the first boblin. This one here. He will shoot you down on higher points if you don't kill him. So just make sure he's dead before you progress through. And this is the same as working your way through Zelda. So you are able to work this like as an optimization for the cycles and get a fast bridge. I won't be going for it in this run. But this bridge up ahead, you can jump off and catch it and then quick dismount. But I'll wait for it to come back up. And then just jump across this side. Alright, and that is MDH. So what I want to do now is we want to warp to Zora's domain and work our way up to Snowpeak. When we enter the first little part of going up Snowpeak, you'll see me pull up my map. And that is performing map glitch. So what that does is, if you pull your map and talk to Midna on the same frame, you can glitch out the loading zones of the game, so it doesn't actually know where you are, and that way you can run through the blizzard up to Snowpeak. So once you get through here, unplug your controller. Hold D-pad right and Z and replug. Press Z, press B, zoom in and select a portal. And Midna will stop you. I actually didn't mean to transform, that's quite funny. And now what will happen is that when I get to the blizzard up ahead, Midna won't know where I am. Because in the game's head, I've teleported out, I've warped. So let's just run up to Snowpeak. I believe if you die there, if you jump into the pond, you'll need to redo map glitch. I believe. So just work our way up through the blizzard. I try to hug the right hand side. Makes it easier to know where I am. And then up ahead, we're going to perform a Howling Stone. And the reason we perform this Howling Stone isn't actually to get the hidden skill. It's to reset our load zone. So then the game knows where we are. Because right now, if I was just to keep going and I dig into an area, the game will soft lock. Because it can't load any other areas until I complete this Howling Stone. So we're going to complete this. And we're not even going to get the golden wolf from it. We're just going to leave. But now that has reset our loading zone. It has told the game, hey, they're at this point. So now you can continue on. So now we're able to dig through here. Also something of note here. I'm going to be changing into Human Link. I'd recommend changing to Hero's Clothes here. Just because if you do get hit by anything, it's going to do way more damage and probably kill you. Got fast keys. Those keys can sometimes snipe you out the air and cause you to fall down. It's just kind of a luck of the draw thing. Where am I? I've never seen that part of the arena before. So when you come up here and you talk to the Yeti, you want to say no on the first text box by pressing B. It'll just skip a couple of text lines. This is again another good opportunity to get more rupees. There's a bunch of rupees up in the trees, and also there's some on the shortcut. So if you get a lot of rupees here, you may be able to skip one of the hundreds. So I have 57 right now. So if I get a very strong like rupee count after this, I won't get the second 100. So I only got some of them, so I will get the second 100. You can also come up through the shortcut. There's a 20 here. That's also just faster. If you're lacking any health at this point, there's 2 hearts in those pots if you need it. If you go through the right door there and then perform an LJA across the gap, you're able to actually Clawshot through this roof, which is quite helpful. And then we're going to perform a ice wall clip. I'll link FX's tutorial below. And if I didn't, it's in my my Snowpeak walkthrough video. But basically what you do is you turn side onto it, transform into wolf, and then ESS so that your body is partially in, and then transform and backflip. So it's actually a very forgiving wall. It's not too bad at all. But yeah, I'll hopefully remember to link FX's tutorial below. Here we're going to perform Freezered Skip. Which can sometimes mess you up. But if you bonk into here, I have actually messed this up. So we can do it again. So when the Freezered is turning, not when it's facing you, you can bonk off the wall and then jump through this door. And then open it. So that might take some getting used to. Definitely can mess you up when you're new. Continues to mess me up now. And here we can defeat Dark Hammer. So for Dark Hammer, what I do is I just roll around and I get hit. But if you just run around him, twice, he'll throw the hammer at you, or the ball and chain at you, and you can just kill him. And then what you can do here is, if you go to the north side of the room and you hug the right hand wall, make sure you copy this movement as it is. But if you ball and chain downwards, you can actually kill one of the bubbles and get an 100 rupee. And then if you save warp and go back to the entrance to Snowpeak, you can get another 100 rupee. So this is why it's so forgiving in this route. So again, same thing. You can obviously skip those text boxes with a side hop if you wanted. And now we're going to Arbiter's Grounds. So what we need to do first is we need to get Aru's memo so that fire will send us to Gerudo Desert. And you just get that by climbing to the top of this tower. It's got a pretty long climb. But it's not too bad. Just small movement optimizations as well, if you want them. As I said, pretty long climb. If you jump off this tower and get a roll, you actually don't take damage, which is cool. I've not done that before. So don't fail that jump. And then just go across the fire. Make sure you transform before you take the corner, because Plum will come down. This section is a lot of running. So there's not a whole lot to it. The only part you'll need to learn will be entering Arbiters, how to get into the Boblin camp. Again, if you're running on console, just camera down. Will save you, reduce a bit of that lag. And we're aiming for this like top left kind of notch. When we get through here, I'm going to be doing Wolf Clip. It's slightly faster than Human Clip, but it's a bit harder. But I've never done Human Clips. This part here, you can do as Human Link, and it is seen as a lot easier. I have just always done Wolf Link, just by holding upright. Here we do another map glitch. So again, unplug your controller. Wait for the little cutscene to play. Hold D-pad right and Z. And replug. Find a portal. And this time you want to change to Link. And what you want to do is you actually want to run behind the cutscene. Find a point fairly straight on. Yeah, that looks pretty good in the bottom left. And then just jump attack like that. So you just want to walk behind the cutscene, walk off edge, and then just press B. And what this does is it jumps you underneath the map into the King Boblin 3 fight. You kind of hang in the air for a little bit. If you continuously hang in the air, just save and reset, and it'll bring you back to getting to the desert. And now we can just defeat King Boblin with just a couple of spin attacks. Cool. And now we can just take this exit. Transform to Wolf just because it makes it quicker to get across. Little jump attack. And we're in. Arbiters is quite a difficult dungeon. One of the most difficult to optimize. So definitely just a never-ending learning with this dungeon. Okay, didn't mean that for that to happen. That's a wall. There is a heart in that second from the left skull if you need it. Transform over to Wolf and just make sure you target the Poe there. And the quickest way to kill a Poe is to do an attack and a charged attack. With this Poe, make sure to get it sent. So after you defeat it and it links over, it moves the soul over to the main part of the room. Make sure you just press A on it again to get it sent, because you need that to find the chain to get to the second Poe. That's the other way. It's over here. Here, if you just use... Oh, whoops. I had the ball and chain equipped. Yeah, it's my bad. I thought I had the ball and chain equipped. Just 2 ball and chain hits will get you through there. And I'm also going to collect this rupee, so now I have my 200. If you do a jump attack here, while it's doing its animation, it'll cut it short. Like, I needed you, but that's fine. Maybe that's just a lesson to stay away from walls. This room has a bit of a weird LJA, which took me quite a while to get used to. But I can show my setup for it. I was just gonna kill this bubble. So what I do is I climb over this, Boomerang on, and just climb up. Equip your boomerang. Top middle right of here. Wait for it to cross, and then just go. I didn't get the 2, but I got enough. That was the kind of lineup I used, the middle right. But it is one of the more awkward LJs in this game, in my opinion. For here, you don't even need to fight this guy if you're quick. Just hit the key and run. I strongly dislike this room. I think it's one of the more annoying rooms. I couldn't tell you the faster way to do this. I just kind of gradually work my way through because it's better than dying. That wasn't too bad, actually. Again, if you need more rupees, they drop 20s. Jump attack to cancel the animation. Alright, only one more pow to go. In this room, you need to grab this key, and when you do, the rats will start to spawn. You'll see the rats when you turn on your senses. So if they do get on you, you can't move quick. So just do a quick spin. So spin it in a circle and press B, and then you should be able to get through the rest of the room. This one's a little bit weird as well. So if you get up in this box, what you want to do is you want to throw the boomerang to land higher than Link's feet position. There you go. Interesting. So in this room, it's just the first and the left. There is a manipulation you can use here to make that faster, but I'd say it's kind of worth going off and studying it yourself. It's not very easy to understand, in my opinion. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the boss key. There's a blue rupee in here if you need it. I didn't need it, but just in case you needed that. What you're going to do is you want to do a B press and kind of clip around the outside of this. There you go. Fall down there, you're dead. So please don't do that. So we've got the boss key now. And we're just going to work our way through here as Wolflink because it's quickest. There is human movement you can do here, but it is quite difficult. That's a mistake. So there's ball and chain them. They require a hit to go down, and then you need to hit them while they're on the floor to break their bones. And we are into the Death Sword fight. So if you do a jump attack from here, it'll start the fight. Transform into wolf. And then wait for Death Sword to attack and then do an LA attack. And now I'm going to teach the faster way to do this because I think it's not that hard in comparison to the easiest way to do it. And it's a lot quicker. So Clawshot out of the air. Wait over here. Spin attack him when he comes around. And then hit him in sequences of 3s. I actually messed that up. I hit it with a combo. Yeah. So basically you don't want to hit it as a full 4 attack because then Death Sword will start flying around again. So you want to hit it in 3s. And now we got the spinner. And we save forward from here back to the start. So this is actually being recorded on a different day from when I did the last chunk of it. So don't worry about the timer on the left. We're just on the spinner split there. So what I want to do now is we want to use the spinner to go over to the Stallord fight. With the Stallord fight, there is a strat you can do to get a early knockdown. So basically, it stops him from having to go around the perimeter of the circle and making his way to the top. If you do miss it, I believe it's about a 30-second time loss. So I'll hopefully show you what it's like in this. But if I don't get it, it's not a huge deal. You're still able to defeat Stallord in 1 cycle of attacks. So as long as you get that, you'll be fairly okay. So just for the spinner parts here, when you're spinning A, as long as you're tapping A at a moderately fast pace, sorry, you'll be okay. You don't need to be mashing it like it's the bow fight or anything like that. So the first part of this fight, so you got two phases. So you got the first part, which is where Stallord is in the middle of the sandpit, and then you got the second part where it's just the head of Stallord going around the perimeter. For the first one, there's elements of RNG to it based on where the troopers spawn in. So you just need to do your best to avoid them and try to hit Stallord 3 times with an A press. The A press actually has a bit of distance on it, so like you don't need to be super precise with it. But we'll see here based on where the troopers spawn in. So that's pretty nice. But sometimes they will make it hard for you to get through. That's also pretty nice. I can pop off this one. There we go. That's basically a perfect first phase. I can't really ask for better than that. But yeah, you kind of deal with whatever you've been given. They can sometimes get really annoying, and you can get stuck in the sandpit in the middle. If so, you have to just roll to the edge of the arena and go again, which can lose you a bit of time. So now when this one comes down, you just need to go to the center with your spinner, and just mash A again. For some reason, the spinner is super fast in this room. I don't really know why. But the spinner movement from there is much quicker than it is in the first room of Arbiters. Not really sure why, but yeah. So here I'm going to do 5 rolls, wait a split second, and then try and get it. It is something you can back up with a break slide, but I'd say for this level, or for being new to the game, it's probably not worth looking into. But yeah, I'll try and recreate it and see if I can show you the movement for it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then what you can do here is you can just do a sequence of spin attacks. Actually nearly messed that up because I didn't spin correctly. But yeah, if you don't get that, Stallord will just go around and you'll chase him up to the top. As I said, about 30 seconds, I'd say, is a ballpark. So if you don't get it, don't worry too much about it. But yeah, there's either an audio cue or a visual cue that you can use. It's kind of up to you as to which you prefer. If I find a video that kind of explains that a bit more, I'll link it in the description. And it'll be the same for any tricks along this. I'll try and link as many things across the run to help people as much as I can. So we can grab the heart piece here just for just extra benefit, I guess. And then just ride the spinner across the edge. And there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to defeat the Shadow Beasts up in the Mirror Chamber and then go to Lake Hylia, because that will unlock, that will provide us access to City in the Sky. The movement for this messenger fight here, people kind of do it however they want. I'll link Bewilderbeast's video, who does a video of kind of some of the quickest methods for all the different messenger fights. But what I do here is I do a roll to the side, a spin attack. I do 2 rolls and a stab, 2 rolls, and then a spin attack. Okay, nearly messed that up, but thankfully got both of them. If you do miss getting the combo, like both of them in the same attack, if you're quick enough, you can do 2 separate ones. So here, map open, zoom in, portals, zoom out, over to Lake Hylia. Oh, sorry, over to Kakariko. Over to Kakariko. Kakariko, and then Lake Hylia. So I believe in the document that I've done with this video, there's a tutorial. I think it's Skyrim's tutorial on how to do this. But we need to do a statue clip here, which will provide us access to City in the Sky. So I just kind of walk, slight angle, and then just as you clip in a little bit, you should be able to get in. But I will link a video for that. And here we want to press Z, don't warp, pull up on your map yourself and do it. So when Midna offers it, don't accept it, and just basically use the map to get across. And you can skip that cutscene then between. Then what we want to do here is you don't want to walk past this final fence post because you'll end up talking to the bird. So transform just before, because otherwise Plum will try to talk to you. But thankfully I have 300 rupees, so I can just talk to Fire and get him to fix the cannon for us. If you don't have 300 rupees by this point, I believe in the document I should have linked some backup rupees. So there is 60 rupees around Fire's cannon that you can do. So if you've got the 200s in Snowpeak and you got the 60 there, hopefully you should have had 40 at some other point in the run, and you should be able to get him to fix it. If you don't have that many, I'm not sure what the best backup would be, but I just kind of just hope that you have enough at that point. Some people also don't have a split for this. Also, I just need to change over to Clawshots and Boomerang. If at this point you don't... sorry, what was I going to say? I've completely blanked. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. Some people don't normally have splits for this. Some people like to combine the Sky Cannon and double Clawshot. I like to separate them just because I like knowing my City in the Sky movement. But it's personal preference. So just a couple of text boxes to mash through. So there will be a thing coming up in the first room of City in the Sky, which basically you'll see a door. The reason we do kind of weird movement in front of the door is to make sure we don't trigger a fan. So I'll explain it when we get there. But basically, the fan in the main room of City in the Sky doesn't turn on if you don't hit the trigger right in front of the door. So as Wolflink, we open the door from a little bit further away and don't activate the trigger. So I'll show you here in a sec. We just need to roll. There's a chance that you get wind here that kind of pushes you backwards. Again, just RNG, not a huge time loss. Let's Claw Shot there. I'd say here we want to do some LJs to get across. If you throw it into the wall, it'll come straight back at you, so it's just a little bit quicker. Avoid the Helmosaurs. So here, if you walk up to this line, about here should be good, and transform, and press A, and open the door. This fan at the top of this room shouldn't have turned on, so I'll double check for you. Yeah, so that fan doesn't turn on, and that'll be helpful for the second half of City in the Sky. So if that has turned on, I think it's about a 10-minute time loss, ballpark. So you can create a save file before if it's something you're worried about. But yeah, just kind of opening it from as far away as you can. I will also say that with the vines, especially in Seeing the Sky, it's a thing in kind of all vines, you can catch a dead pixel. So basically, if you catch the very, very top pixel or the very, very side pixel, it'll put you into like a double claw shot animation where it's looking for you to claw shot off to another place. So in some situations that can actually, you have to drop down and can cause death. So the very, very edge pixels can be can be a bit of a pain. Just here, if you aim down and sidestep, do that. So here I'm going to skip the Argorok cutscene. So if I walk to the end of this bridge, Argorok will fly through and destroy the bridge, which actually causes us to spawn in the second. When we do a save warp, we'll spawn back at the start of City in the Sky rather than in a different room. So if you Clawshot up here, wait for the wind, and then tap A and mash B when you see Link's hat move, you should be able to land over there. And that'll just save us a bit of time in the second half. We skip a cutscene and also we spawn in a better location. So now we're going to go to the other half of City in the Sky to get the second Clawshot. So that's our last use of the spinner in this section. So now we can just be on Claw and Boomerang, and then Claw and Iron Boots. But you'll need the Clawshot for this entire section. So here we go to the right hand side, equip the Rang. Same kind of deal. Across to the side. Here when I'm doing the second jump, I'm gonna press B at the apex of the jump to jump across. It's pretty forgiving. But you use that in a couple of situations to just skip a ledge. Here, if you hold L and then mash A, you can sometimes get a jump attack to just put you a bit further ahead in the room. Then here, just prep a spin attack, knock the 2 off, and you can Clawshot up to here and change to your Iron Boots. So here we're going to use the Ukus to end with the fans. So what you can do is when you're in the air, you can use Iron Boots just by turning on and off the Iron Boots to kind of optimize your movement a bit more. It's important to note that during the second jump over the ledge, make sure you're holding L when you go to jump. So not this one here, but we'll do one here. So I'll do it slowly. So up to here. What you want to do is you want to find an angle and hold L, and as you jump off, hold right. And you'll be able to skip over that. If that's too much of an issue, you can just turn on the fan in that room and do it a slower way. Now we've got Uku on the side. And here we want to go down to the bottom level. So again, Iron Boots. And then you can jump the whole way down. Here, if you want, you can mash your Iron Boots button, and you may be able to equip them during the frame. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna go for Aerolfoss skip here. This basically skips the entire fight. If it's not something you can figure out, you can just fight Aerolfoss. I believe a second try is only quicker than the fight. But you have to use you have to use specific movement to set up. So I'll show you the movement here and then explain it. So 1, 2, 3, stab, ESS down. There we go. So there's 2 setups, I believe, for that. I'll link a video explaining that, but it's a frame perfect shot. And yeah, I'd recommend giving it a go. Worst case scenario, you just complete the fight. Yeah, but there's specific setups for it so that we can make sure we can see the pixel. So now here, because we haven't destroyed the Argorok bridge, we spawn here. So pull out your sword, 2 side hops, jump attack, jump attack. And now we can equip our Rang and our double claw. And now for this time, because we've already gotten past that point, we can actually just roll through here. There's no need to try and skip the cutscene. So now we're going to head over to the Argorok fight. The Argorok fight can be optimized quite a bit, but it's quite a complicated fight to explain. So again, I will find a video for it. So now here we can, because the fan isn't on, we can just Clawshot up here and skip a huge chunk. Yeah, I will go for... I think I'll go for the Argorok fight, and I'll link a video explaining it. We can Clawshot up here. There's a pixel. There it is. And now here we want to do an LJA. So we want to throw the boomerang just above the ledge. And if you do it quick enough, you should be able to jump across. But I think learning an optimized Argorok fight is definitely important. Kind of I feel like when it gets explained to you, it makes a lot more sense. So then jump down here, mash A, and you'll be able to roll. But basically what we do in the Argorok fight is that we shorten its flame cycles, so that we can attack it a lot quicker. So here what you want to do is you want to Clawshot up very high, so you can Clawshot down onto the top of these ones to skip the ledge grab. So you want to do that on the first 2, and then go the whole way to the right, and then boomerang on the right hand side of it. I'm actually getting attacked by the bird, which is never ideal. So on the right hand side, and then a bunch on the left, and hopefully, yeah, there you go. So just on the right hand side of the pillar, and then a bunch on the left hand side. But make sure that you're Clawshotting slightly downwards. Here, we just want to go up through the fans. So I won't go for any fast movement on this one. Oh, whoops. I was going to try and equip Iron Boots. Yeah, I'm just going to ride it the whole way around, rather than going for fast movement. Because I don't think this is something needed for a beginner route. If you want to, I will try and show you the last final shot, if it's something that you feel comfortable doing. But otherwise, just shoot around. So what you can do here is, if you're quick, you can shoot up to there and do a quick cycle. It's also worth knowing that if you're doing a double claw, if you hold L, you'll be able to quick draw the next claw. So I'll show you here. When I Clawshot over here, I'm holding L midair, and I can pull my claw really quickly then. Oops. So that makes your life a bit easier. And then, nice, that didn't work. Drop down, and through the door. So yeah, that room can be optimized to like a faster cycle, where you just basically quick shoot between all the sides. Here, if you hold L and mash A, you can get a dry roll. But if you come to the edge here, look up with your claw, you can find a pixel here to shoot yourself up to. There's always the chance that you shoot the dead pixel there, but yeah, kind of something just to play around with. So at the start of the fight, run to the perimeter, either the left hand side or the right hand side. Just come hang out beyond one of these pillars, and then when Argorok's flown around for a few seconds, you can just come back in. This just stops the actually put on your boots here, just equip your iron boots, but that just stops Argorok flying through and trying to hit you the first time. Now when this animation ends, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold upright, and I'm going to shoot my claw into the first rectangle of the closest pillar. So into here. I've already got my iron boots on, and that just does a quick 2 cycle. So I definitely recommend doing that. When you're aiming with the Clawshot, if you see up first, so flick on the right stick and then press Y or whatever button you've got it equipped to, it'll just make it quicker to shoot. But that way it just does a really fast 2 cycle of the first phase. So I'm gonna go for this with like an optimized Argorok fight. If it's not something you want to go for, and it's not essential on like a first couple of runs, you can just fly around and fight him at the casual way. So just go around until it stops shooting flames, and go around the back of it and jump on 3 times and attack it. So when this part ends, I'm gonna unequip my iron boots and then run to the edge and void. That's just a little bit quicker. So I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I go. So I go 2 rolls over here. Clawshot to the first part. We're going to go fairly high up as we can. And then up to the next pillar. And when Argorok yells, we're going to fire our claw. And immediately equip iron boots. Oh no, I got it. It was just very slow. So I'll explain better on the second cycle. So ignore that one. But that was a successful one, but it just looked a bit scuffed. So when I get thrown off here, I'm going to unequip iron boots midair. Roll twice. Equip my iron boots. Up 1. Up 2. So equip my iron boots. When the flames are going for a bit, I'm going to hold down and go across. So when the flame stops, we've successfully done the cycle, and then we can just equip onto the back. As I said, I will link a video with this, who goes into it in further detail, but I definitely think it might be worth learning, as it's not overly complicated. It just takes some getting used to as the do's and the don'ts, and you just need to be comfortable with your aim enough that you you can get up here in time. So for this one, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now when the flame goes past this P-hat, I'm going to put on my iron boots. And when Argorok breathes again, I'm going to take them off. And now I should be able to aim into the middle. There we go. So as I said, I'll link a video. I'm sure there's many tutorials out there that go through kind of the best way to do it. But it saves a hell of a lot of time over a casual method. So after we go through this cutscene, we go through all our tech smashing and all that, what you can do is you can hold L left and side hop, and you'll side hop into the heart container. So here, just hold L left and just press A. And just side hop straight into it. And then roll over to Midna, and we're good to leave. Cool. Now what we want to do here is, before we jump into the cannon, you want to make sure you equip your iron boots. So roll over here, equip your iron boots, and you can skip this cutscene. And now what you want to do here is you want to mash B, and what this will do is it'll make us drop faster, so we don't land in the water. I think it's a 4-frame window. Open map, zoom in, Z, zoom out, and mirror chamber. So yeah, I believe it's a 4-frame window. So that's like 0.12 of a second, ballpark, 0.13 I think actually. So yeah, if you're able to do that, that's good. It's fairly forgiving. But yeah, just something to keep in mind before you jump out. And so from here, what you want to do is you want to roll up the stairs as Link, transform into Wolf Link at the top here. It's got a slightly shorter animation or something. I don't know. I know it saves a tiny bit of time. And you're going to need to be Wolf Link in here anyway, so may as well. Skip this cutscene, and then you can dash down over to the left-hand side. Just get through these text boxes. So Palace of Twilight's quite a difficult stage, or split, I guess, in terms of optimizing. But knowing where you can throw the salts from, so the salts are the two like light balls that we get. Knowing when and where you can throw them is very helpful to end up like on the stairs that pop up. So what you want to do here is you want to keep dashing, and then a B attack. Hopefully you get a 2-hit if you're in a sprint, and then a charged attack. So if you're in a sprint, like a sprint kind of motion as Wolf Link, and you press B, you get 2 hits on a Zant head. And then so a 2-hit and a charge attack will kill them for you. And then here you want to just Clawshot up here and change back into Wolf Link. So you'll see me do that quite a bit. So I'll be in a sprinting motion, I'll press B, it'll do the 2 hits, and then I'll do a charge attack. So same here. We'll find the Zant head, so where it spawns, perfectly right in front of me. 2 hits, charge attack, and I'll run over to where this chest spawns. Obviously, the closer you can get to the chest, the better. But you know, if you're a little bit away, it's not a huge issue. Oh, that's a wall. And here what you want to do is draw a sword, similar to Sea in the Sky, 2 side hops and a jump attack. So here we're going to go into the Zant fight, the Phantom Zant fight. In this you want to make sure that you don't hit it with a combo, because if you hit it with a combo attack, the Zant will start flying around to the different locations. And if that happens, you just want to stand in the middle with the charge attack. But what we're going to do is going to hit him with a slash and 2 spin attacks. And on the 3rd try, we're going to hit it with 3 spin attacks. So hopefully I can show you here. Okay, so 1 spin attack, wait for him to spawn. Perfect. 1 spin attack, spin attack. So 3 spin attacks on the 3rd one. So that's the optimal, kind of optimal cycle. If Zant gets its like his spawn, I guess, off his spawn move, you may have plants or something come to annoy you. But yeah, it's kind of something definitely worth learning. What you can do is you can throw the soul before the cutscene there. But yeah, Phantom Zant's definitely something worth learning. There is such a thing as spinning too fast. So if you watch my input display, you'll realize that I just continually spin. And then, yeah. Here you can hold Eldin down if you want to slide. All good if not. Yeah, I definitely recommend just doing some Phantom Zant practice. The second Phantom Zant is a lot less forgiving than that one. So I'd recommend, yeah, giving it a bit of a go. So what I want to do here is we want to drop down, and then up left we'll be able to throw the soul. So down here. That may work. That actually missed. There we go. The more you know. So you want to stand in the square in the corner, because that'll bring you up to where we want to be. So do a jump attack here, turn around, and if you hold L, as the Clawshot's coming back and a direction, you'll be able to perform an L slide. Again, if there's a video explaining them, I'll link it. But basically, when the Clawshot is coming back towards you, hold L in that direction, and you can start kind of skidding towards the way you would like to go. And if you do it correctly on that previous room, you actually skip a bunch of enemies spawning. So you'll see on the top level there's no enemies. But again, if the enemies spawn, it's not a huge deal. And then just run through the last room. And again, it's a live com over stuff, so if I'm talking quite fast or I don't provide enough detail, TP Discord's always there. I stream myself doing runs if you want to ask questions. Drop the ball, free rolls. There's always people around to ask the questions to if you have any questions. Here we want to equip the Boomerang over your Iron Boots and LJ to the other side. But the TP Discord, I would 10 out of 10 recommend. Everyone there is very nice, and someone will have an answer to a question you have, because kind of most questions have been asked before at some point. So roll to the edge here. You can Clawshot up onto that. Wow, I've never actually had that happen before, so that's a new one for me. But yeah, Clawshot up to here. Wait for the platform to be under you. Yep. I'll do this without the correct. Oh. That kind of worked out. There's a way to do this that you always make the cycle. Again, I think for another day maybe. But kind of just make your way through this room however you can. There is an optimal cycle, which I believe there's a video on. But yeah, this room is quite a pain in the butt, and can constantly screw runners over. But there's a way that basically you will make it across to the other side in one cycle. So no matter where the head is, you should be able to get to it. As you jump off here, throw your Boomerang. It'll like startle the messengers and they'll come back to you quicker. And then just charge up an attack. Wow. Again, a new first for me. I need to actually watch out here because I do not have much health. A charge attack into this guy. And then preparing a charge attack for the 3 heads. And then a double hit again. We then need a Clawshot up to here. Clawshot up to the roof, to the second one. And Clawshot to the left-hand side. And you can grab the chest. So I know that was quite quick, but basically, yeah, defeat the messengers, defeat the head as you normally would. There's a Clawshot here. Defeat the Zant head, and then just prepare a charge attack, get all 3 of them in it, and when you hit the 3rd one, just do a dash B attack into it. Again, this level is quite difficult to get used to, so I'd recommend playing around with it a bit. And now we've got the second Phantom Zant fight. So this one is less forgiving than the first one, but it's the same idea. Awesome. So yeah, that one gives you less time to get to Zant each time. So you can listen to an audio cue of where he's going to be. But still, sometimes it is a bit of a guessing game. Whoops. Fantastic aim for me. You don't always get that orb before the cutscene. If you don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up. And then I'm going to press B over the place I want to put it and delay a roll. So run up here, B, then A. And hopefully you make it up onto the stairs. And again, Clawshot down, and L slide back towards the door. The pathing going back here is actually easier for the second room. So what we want to do is we want to run to the square right in front of us and just throw it. So it's a straight on movement. So jump down here, get to this square, and throw. And then we'll be in the perfect spot to be able to roll around to the far side. As you can see, that the ball was kind of moving. I believe it's when the Shadow Beast walks into it. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. And this room, again, a bit of a pain on the way back. You can make it to the first platform very comfortably if you skip that cutscene. But yeah, you're able to make it in one cycle, but it does take a bit of practice. But again, kind of make it across at your own pace. If the hand does catch up to you at any point, you can just hit it with your Clawshot, and it'll kind of startle it, and it'll just kind of leave you alone. So if the hand is ever getting too close, just hit it with your Clawshot a couple of times, and you'll be okay. And also, if you hold L and mash A here, you might be able to throw the ball. Nope. So I'm going to leave the ball here, get onto my platform, turn around, and back up. That was sketchy. Across the other side. And I personally split here. You can kind of split here or on light sword text or whatever tickles your fancy. So we're going to roll up the hill here, and what we're going to do is we're going to be able to clear these walls of Twilight with spin attacks. So if you roll to the end here, you can spin attack, and you're able to make your way through. So this room can be a little bit of a pain. There's lots of enemies around the place. So I press B and then A, and B and then A. So you can do like two quick rolls. Finding out where the souls should be can take a minute. But there's two circles, so one on each side. And if you can roll onto the stairs before the animation plays. Also, the good thing about this room is that there's a lot of keys. Keys have an incredibly high heart drop rate. So if you're running low on health, I think keys have about 90% if I'm not mistaken. So they're always the best to go for a bit of health. Here, we're going to leave that plant. Get the 3 of these. And this guy. And here, we want to prep a spin attack. Oh, did a bit early. Sometimes these Zant heads can also drop hearts, but it's not guaranteed. And now what we're going to do is we're going to activate this lift with the spin attack, and we're right to the other side. You can perform LJAs between some of these areas to optimize it, but I'd recommend watching. If you watch when you get to a point, if you want to watch the world record run or something, I'm sure you'll see clear time saves in there. So I'm going to go for the slower cycle here. So when I come out here, I'm going to go instantly for the boss key. Some people come back for the boss key, but I'm going to show it this way, just because it is much safer. So you come here, spin attack, and then you claw shot up to here. There's a little part you can claw shot up onto. And claw shotting back and forth up here will bring you to the claw shot. The boss key. But it's important to note that you shouldn't come up here unless you have at least a heart of health, because we're going to jump off the edge now. So we're going to jump down here. I actually meant to do a B attack in midair, but it's fine. We're going to activate these two. I actually need to get some health over here by the Zant head, otherwise I will not be able to do what I would like to. So hopefully I get a heart here. So jump across here, kill the Zant head. There's normally a heart in here. Perfect. And after that noise hits of Zant head despawning, you can jump off the edge. And that will respawn you back on this side. And so here, defeat the Zant heads. There's a backup heart or two in here, I believe. Or 3. 1, 2. And a spin attack here. And we should get the small key. Now this next room is all based on elevator cycles. So there's obviously an optimal cycle. But in terms of movement, it's pretty straightforward. Just optimizing it can be quite difficult. But you just want to roll over here when the barriers drop. Just charge a B attack, and when you hear the messages drop, you can just hit them with a charge attack. And they sometimes give hearts as well. You can clear the Twilight and spin attack. And now when this lift will spawn up, we can jump across to it. Yep. And I'm going to jump to the left-hand side just because it is slightly faster. You would jump to the right-hand side if you were completing faster movement. But the left-hand side is actually quicker for the slower cycle. So nothing too overly complex about this room for a beginner level. Obviously, if you want to start optimizing it and getting to the faster cycles, that's when there's a lot more to consider. Spin attack as I land there if you want to defeat him. Now we just wait for the lift to come back. So yeah, as I was letting go of that previous one, I just pressed B and spun, so that when I landed, I would do a spin attack. A slight optimization which I will do here, when I get to this next lift, I'm going to do an LJA across. Just make sure that the boomerang is in the wall or on the higher ground. So here, I am twice into there. Just make sure it's well and truly over there before you press A. But that just saves you a few seconds. And then for this part here, this is very similar to the previous room. So we're just going to continuously charge some attacks up for when the enemies spawn. So there's one. You can hear when they're going to drop in, but it's basically just after the previous enemy despawns. Yeah, and they also drop a lot of hearts here, so this will give you enough health for the Zant fight, which is now. So the Zant fight has 5 stages, if I'm not counting it correctly. So it's got an Ook phase, it's got a Dangoro phase, Morpheel. It's got 6 stages actually. My apologies. So basically, it's like a boss rush. If you've never played it before, it goes through previous boss fights and kind of acts in different ways. There's actually a tutorial video on this fight which can explain it, but I believe that's for a non-Zora Armor route. So I'll try to explain the other parts as best I can here. So the first part is our Diababa phase. So what you want to do is just wait till he spawns and just throw a boomerang. And then when he lands, just hit him with a combo. And same again here. You can try and time it that it's just on the 4th swing by the time he lands. So it'll be a little bit more optimal, but yeah. Here, you want to go for throw your boomerang straight away. Wait to see where he spawns. Kind of walk towards him and do an insta-spin. And then a combo. The amount of times he jumps around, I believe, is RNG. And then just an insta-spin as well. So his like orbs won't knock you backwards if you're just like running at him. So here we want to put on our Zora Armor and our Iron Boots, and just do 2 dry rolls from spawn. And what you can do here is you can do the fastest attack combo. So it's right, left, up, down. So right, left, up, down. And then just kind of wander around a bit. And the head will be despawning. And then just after the eyes have gone through the sand, you can start swimming towards him. So Zant will spawn in the head furthest away from you. So I can go about now and just start swimming across. Cool. Obviously with Zora Armor, there's a bit more room for error. Yeah. And then here what you want to do is you want to equip your ball and chain over your Iron Boots. And roll to this pillar and try to knock him off. Jump attack. And then a combo. Now roll to the middle quickly and start hitting it with the ball and chain. And it should hopefully knock him off. And then you can hit him with an insta-spin. But yeah, making sure you get there before you start jumping around is quite helpful. And just for this phase, you can stand in the corner with the ball and chain. He won't be able to hit you. And when he lands, just throw the ball and chain at his foot. And then hit him with a combo when he's jumping around. And same again. Again, if I'm going through anything quite quick, I'll link videos for everything below. So now for the courtyard phase, the way I'm going to do is I'm just going to do spin attacks. There's a way to be very optimal with this, but I definitely think the safest way to do it is just with spin attacks. So spin attacks will obviously hurt him and also protect you from his attacks. So one spin attack, another spin attack, another one, and protect me from that. Wait for him to stop spinning. Another spin attack. Another spin attack. Getting caught in the corner. Another spin attack. She failed that. So yeah, just if you keep doing spin attacks, it's kind of the safest way to deal with them. This should be the last hit if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I am mistaken, never mind. Maybe I have to hit him with a combo. Yeah, that's my bad there. So basically hit him with a couple of spin attacks and then hit him with a combo. So that's actually my bad. But as I said, I'll link a video for this below. Yep, and then we can Clawshot the heart piece if you'd like more health for the Hyrule section. And we can warp out of here. Yeah, I haven't done the less optimal Zant fight movement in quite a bit. But I believe it's 3 or 4 spin attacks, followed by a combo. So what I'm going to do here is just transform to wolf as soon as you can. And you can run over to the portal. I'll show the mailman skip for this part. Again, if you don't do mailman skip, it's something like 9 seconds, may not even be that much. So yeah, it's kind of up to personal preference. But again, what you want to do when you're map warping, open your map, zoom in, Z, B, and across to Castletown. So for the mailman skip, you want to run to this pole here. Stand here. Chuck on your boomerang. Aim up here. When it goes around, just press A. As long as the boomerang goes over the right-hand side of the bridge, it will let you do an LJA. So yeah, it's pretty forgiving. But definitely just play around with it a little bit. If you do fail it, it's only, as I said, 10 seconds max. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then just gotta roll up into Hyrule. Bonk on the corner to make sure that your run is verified. And then we just got, I think it's nearly, that's like a minute 50 cutscene now with Midna. So there's a lot of people get a drink, have a stretch. Yeah, there's nothing you can do at this point. Yeah, so not too much you can do there. So what we can do here is we're gonna go and get the small key from King Bulblin, and then we will get we'll go through Hyrule Castle. So it's rolling through. If you're doing a later on route, like a bombs route, some parts of this area become a lot easier. So I'll try my best to show it without bombs. But especially like this fight here, this becomes a lot easier in a bomb route because we can actually just blow them all up. So I'm going to try my best to just beat them as quick as I can. So I believe, oh yeah, my first amount was right. So it's four slashes and a spin attack. I believe it's the most optimal amount. Oh, I went slightly too early. So what I do here is, as this cutscene plays, skip it and then hold right and mash A. And you should be able to backflip out there, and then you can just kind of squeeze through the side there to fully skip that barrier. Roll past all these. Sometimes you bring a friend with you. Sometimes they come along. None this time. I believe my record was 4. And then we go into the King Bulblin fight. So similar to how we dealt with King Bulblin before, you're going to hit him with some insta-spins. Except in this fight, you have to take a break before you can hit the final blow. So you're able to get a third one off there, but you need to wait for him to do that striking animation. If that hits you, there's a high chance it kills you, depending on how much health you're on. But it's a very strong attack. So what you can do here is you can run back through Hyrule, or you can save warp. If you just save warp, it'll bring you to the front of the castle. But to save a few seconds, you can roll back. Sorry. Just making sure that you don't go in this barrier, otherwise it obviously does not save time. So just make sure that you don't kind of cross that line. But if you want, you can just save, reset, and you'll end up back at the front doors. Then we want to enter into the main part of the castle. So we're going to skip this barrier here. This one's a little bit harder, but still not very hard in the grand scheme of things. So what you do is you want to do a jump attack around this corner. And as the cutscene plays, just spam start and make sure you can run right. So I just went through that very quickly. But yeah, you want to do a jump attack and then press start as quick as you can. And run around the corner before the barrier spawns in. And now we're on to the Dark Nut fight. So again, this can be optimized. I'll just do it with the sword. If you do 2 delayed rolls, you can hit him with 4 slashes. Hit him again, and then a bunch of individual slashes will take his gear off. And same again. Hitting with a bunch of slashes is probably the best way to go. I don't know if there's a better way without using the ball and chain. Yeah. There is a much faster method, yeah, with the ball and chain. And then what you want to do is you want to just take that one out with the boomerang. And hop across. So here we've got the little lantern puzzle, I guess if you can call it a puzzle. So just equip the lantern. You want to go top right, bottom left, bottom right, top left. They're on a timer, so you have to be reasonably quick, but it's not a massive rush to get there in time. So these ones here, these 2 enemies, these are a lot quicker with bombs. But I'll try to show you with slashes. So sometimes they do block. They are a pain in the butt to fight without bombs. So when you get to a bombs route, you can just kind of bring them to the corner and blow them up with a bomb. For the more optimal movement, I'll see if I can find something, because that was definitely not it. So here, same way before. Boomerang. And then just hit him with a combo. I believe there is a way to hit him when he tries to attack you. Yeah, so as he attacks you, you're able to kind of jump in. But worst case scenario, just go another cycle with them. And now we're basically done a huge, like 99% of the game. We've just got to grab the boss key, get up to the final fight, Puppet Zelda, and Ganon. So again, another cutscene, not able to skip. Just to kind of reiterate that, yeah, a lot of the movement in this is not the most optimal in the world, but this is kind of just like a basic walkthrough. There's 100% ways to optimize everything I've done in this. So now just roll over to the key. into here. So what you can do in this room is you can actually get there before all the platforms fall. So if you chuck a quick right here, you should be able to just roll across all of here before they all cave in. And then up to the top of the stairs. So here you want to hit 2 slashes and a spin attack. And I want to put on the spinner instead of the boomerang. If I walk to the edge of the stairs, you're able to Clawshot to the second chain. And then across to the end. And then here what you can do is you can hit an insta spin. And it'll get both of them. Work your way up between these. And then if you get to just the edge here of this kind of square, you should be able to Clawshot. And then don't skip the cutscene until you're past it, but you should be able to skip through that fight. But yeah, if you walk too far, you'll end up in another Dark Nut fight. So obviously that's a bit of a pain. I can skip this cutscene here. I'd equip the ball and chain here, because if you actually do it during some text in the Puppet Zelda fight, it'll actually crash your game. The likelihood if you're doing it is very low, but I always just equip ball and chain there just to be safe. So now we have the Puppet Zelda fight. This is basically entirely RNG based, and not a whole lot you can do. If you're low on health, all of these pots have help in them. But this Ganon's puppet text, that's what will crash your game. So what we're hoping for is a charged attack on the 1st, the 3rd, and the 7th. So that's the most optimal way you can do it. 7 is the best number. But the Puppet Zelda has 2 other attacks. That has the Triforces like this, so just go to camera up to prevent lag, or they have lunge attacks where they just try to attack you with a sword. So you kind of just got to sit around and wait. There's no, oh, this isn't going to be a good cycle. Yeah, there's no real way to optimize this. Make sure you return the lightning bolts. So we're definitely not getting a 7 now because we didn't get a charge attack on the 3rd. That's 4. That's 5. This is quite a slow one. It's my 3rd Triforce. That's 6. So why it's beneficial to have ball and chain equipped is because we're going to use that at the start of the Beast Ganon fight. That's 7. That's 8. This is proving to be quite a slow Zelda. That's 9. So you can tell when it's going to be a Triforce based on your camera will shift just a little bit. That's 10. Okay, this is one of the worst Zeldas I've ever had. As I said, 7 is the optimal. There's an 11. There we go. That's a very slow Zelda. So what I've actually done is I didn't actually go for the most optimal route here, or the most optimal combo. So I've gone into the practice ROM to show you. So that's why I'm no longer in my Zora Armor. But 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 slashes and then a combo is a way to do it. If you need some health, there's a fairy in here. Wait for him to drop in. Wait for him to start running. It's on the other side, which is less ideal. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you've done that combo correctly, there should only be one portal spawn in. So the only portal that appears will be where he runs out of. So that'll be here. He actually ran me over. Here we go. And then you should be able to hit him with a sprint and then a B attack. So the double attack that we do with the Zant heads. So yeah, I didn't actually go for the most optimal cycle. So I've gone into the practice ROM, so I'll no longer have my Zora Armor just for the end part, but it doesn't really make a difference. And now we just got the horseback segment. So with here, there's different routing that Ganon can take, and also the way your stick is facing will impact whether or not Zelda hits it. So what I do is I do a charge attack just through there, and then you just need to kind of follow him around. Prep up a charge attack as you're going. Make sure to not use your final like sprint, as it takes longer to come back. Alright, but that was a very nice Ganon. Perfect. As I said, yeah, it's different pathings you can take. Kind of your position, where your stick is facing, all that kind of stuff gets taken into account, whether or not Zelda will hit your shot. So it's not actually RNG as many people think every time Zelda misses a shot. So now we just got the final fight. So this is actually very straightforward. What you want to do is you want to get behind Ganon 3 different times and hit him with an insta spin. And then on the final one you will hit him with an ending blow, and that will complete the run. So when he goes for a kicking animation, that's when we'll go for the insta spin. So get behind him, just into kind of his cape. There we go, that's what I meant. There we go. There we go, and then that's time. Oh, well, I guess I hadn't done the Puppet Zelda split, or my live split. It's not being nice. There we go. So yeah, that's kind of it. As I said, not everything is optimal, but hopefully this kind of gives a good basis for a first run. But as I said, I'll link resources for basically everything I've done below, anything I can find. And if you have any questions, let me know, or I'll also leave the link to the TP community Discord down below. Because yeah, someone in there will be able to answer your questions. There's also zeldaspeedruns.com, which has an explanation of kind of all the different tricks and routes and all that kind of stuff. So I'll also link that below. Yeah, hopefully this helps someone, and yeah, good luck with it.